Hello, I'm Monickie Scott.
And this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. Thank you for joining us for 5-Star Conversations as we support and encourage women on their 5-star living journey. Welcome to part 2 of the She Good. After all that, she is good. Once again, we are joined by some amazing women, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And let's start with Leisa Johnson.
Hello, I am Leisa Johnson, Las Vegas resident, the author of Why Not Me, October 1.
Excellent. And Danielle, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Danielle Rashann. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and a birth and death doula.
Absolutely. And Ellena Smith.
Hello, I'm Ellena Smith, and I'm the owner of Easy Days Drive-Thru Mini Mart here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Thank you for joining us. And Lisa? Muted.
Sorry about that. This is Leisa Moseley, author of the blog Eat My Dessert First and the ebook Daily Desserts to Inspire Self-Love.
Thank you. And Lynne.
Lynne Jasames, owner of Jasames Inc., author of How to Beat the Odds from A to Z, and It's Okay to Cry When the Odds Are Against You.
Thank y'all for joining us.
So I am going to be starting off today with the word forgive and forgiveness. When someone says to forgive is not for them, it's for you. What does that mean? And has anyone here experienced the personal joy of forgiveness? And I'm going to start with you, Ellena.
That's really a hard one. Because what I went through, my family always expected me to forgive the person that caused my pain. And it was really hard for me to try to forgive that person, but it took a lot of growth and a lot of therapy and connecting with God. And that was the only way that I was able to find any type of forgiveness in my heart to be able to not have hatred feelings towards the person. So it was really, going to God and building my relationship with him and getting strong in who I am as a person. And through that, I was able to find forgiveness in my heart. I can't say that I 100% forgive that person, but I can say that enough so that that I am at least pleasing God.
I understand. I totally understand that. And Lynn, what about you?
So sometimes we think we've forgiven somebody and we don't. And then we realize that we don't. We have to make the adjustment. My biggest person I had to forgive was my mother. Understanding from the perspective, forgiveness is for yourself, it's not them. It's just realizing when you can forgive them, it frees your heart, your mind, and your spirit of feeling like they haven't gotten away with something. When you haven't forgiven a person, you feel like they got away with it. But I had to realize, look at the one that I've become as a result of some of the things that she put me through. And I can't say that I could have become this woman without those experiences. So from the perspective of, it's not about them, it is about you. I had to release, like, when she would be like, oh, and justifying it, that would make me angry. So then it was like, well, you feel like she ain't got justice. You ain't got. So in my book, How to Beat the Odds from A to Z, one of the titles is called Justice is Forgiveness. Because once you forgive, you don't feel the need that they need to have to pay for what they did.
Exactly. And Lisa, you wanted to chime in on that?
I do. So forgiveness is one of the daily desserts that I have in the book. But I also have a quote that I wrote that says, "It has been said that forgiveness is for the brave. Yet braver still are those that need not to forgive, for they have taken no offense." That's a perspective. It is a place that I strive to be. What in my talks about consciousness and understanding that we are all connected to each other and that what we do affects others and affects ourselves. And part of that is understanding that hurting people hurt people. That doesn't change the fact that what other people do to us hurts us. But for me, it's it's thinking that gets us to a place where we no longer, where we understand that what other people do to us, again, is more about them and not about us. That's a tough perspective for some people. And it's like I said, I'm not 100% there. It's a place that I strive to be. Getting to the point where I understand that what somebody did to hurt me is more about the place that they are in than it is about me. And so from that perspective, I can start to work on my own healing and release the anger that I have toward them and just work on my healing through this experience. And so I talk different women through this experience, and it's a hard one because people say, well, what am I supposed to do? Just not be angry? I'm not saying you don't be angry. I'm saying you work on it. This is more about you than it is about them. So that's one perspective that I teach. And it's, like I said, it's a tough one to get to, but I think it has so much value in it, and releasing the anger and the trauma that we hold on to sometimes from these experiences.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Danielle?
Yeah, I just had to chime in. Forgiveness, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think when I hear, I can say one of my triggers is when Black people are asked, "Can you forgive that?" It's triggering. Especially, I've heard that question asked in the media to the Black mothers of murdered children who were murdered by white police officers or some other racist person. And it's a tough one. And so as I'm working with folks, and even as I work with myself, where I've settled now, who knows if this will change in the future, but where I've settled now in forgiveness is, I think that there's power in forgiving a situation, and that forgiveness does not necessarily have to be attached to an individual, but forgiving the fact that that thing happened, because it's very hard for us to reconcile that there is a just and loving God, that there is meaning and purpose in this universe when all of these, crazy things are happening, and then, things personally happen to us. And so to be able to reconcile those, we have to be able to practice the concept of forgiveness. But I'm not so sure that we have to apply forgiveness to individuals who have done the unforgivable. I think that is reserved for God. That's where I'm settled at right now. We'll see how I get, when I get into my 50s in a couple of years. I don't know.
Understand. Lachey, did you want to add?
I am so not there. So, I am not there. I'm not in a place where I'm ready to forgive the shooter. At this point, I'm still just working on me. I'm working on me as just healing.
Yeah.
Just healing and being a part of society again, meaning going out in public spaces. But on the forgiveness tip, I'm not there. There's still a lot of anger in me.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. Yeah. Ladies, so if you could go back in time with the knowledge you have now, what would you tell your 10-year-old self? And I will start with Danielle.
Well, Felina.
10-year-old
self. Let me access that long-term memory bank and go back to that little girl. That, if I could go back, and it's so interesting you should ask this question, because I do this with my clients. We do inner child work, and we go and we talk to our younger self. And when I went through a process like that for myself, I didn't know at the time, but through the process, I realized what that little girl needed was probably what a lot of little girls need. And that's just some real, genuine love. Just some love. I was able as an adult to give that little girl the love that she needed at that time that she just was not getting. For whatever reason, my mother was ill-equipped. She lacked love in her life when she was a child. She was caught up in the day-to-day, and it just wasn't there. But I was able to give that love to that little girl. And so I would just love on her and tell her she's cute, and don't worry about, the way that you look, you're fine. And your brother got his own problems. That's why he acts the way that he does, but don't mind him. You know, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And
Absolutely.
again, I didn't know that that little girl needed that, but I discovered that, and I suspect that a lot of us needed just some love.
Absolutely. You're right on. Ellena?
Ooh, okay.
No.
10-year-old me. I would definitely have to look at 10-year-old me and tell her that none of this is your fault, that you didn't cause any of this. This doesn't make you dirty. This doesn't make you, who you're being portrayed to be, and that you're beautiful and that you are worthy, and that, it's not making sense right now. But, that like I said, that's tough, because that 10 is an age where I needed a hug. I needed my mother to listen and understand, but she didn't, so that was just that time. I had older sisters in the house who didn't listen, so that's a time when I really, at 10-year-old me, just really needed someone who would listen to me, because 10-year-old me was trying to talk and was trying to tell people, but they didn't want to listen to 10-year-old me. So I would just really have to tell her, that this is not, this is not your fault. You didn't do this. You didn't cause this. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes. Lachey?
Wow, 10.
Yeah.
Rolling back the clock for real. I would have to tell her to just dance in the rain. Just dance in the rain.
Yeah.
Because
Love
so
it.
much has happened, and I'm born from California, born and raised in Los Angeles, California. So I always thought I was going to be a dancer. Go figure. I'm selling houses now, not chicken no more, but houses. So I would have to literally say, dance in the rain.
I love it. I love it. And Lisa?
Wow, 10-year-old me. I remember 10 so vividly. And it was a time where I was around people who didn't look like us. I grew up in a little town where we were one of like 6 Black families. And I wanted to be something that I was not. I wanted to be what I thought those girls were, the straight hair and flat booties. I wanted all that. And I'm so serious, because we have it, we're born with it. I would tell 10-year-old me that you are beautiful. Your hair is beautiful. You don't need to straighten it. You don't need to try to look like other people. I would tell 10-year-old me, are you the cutest little thing walking? And you are smart. You're beautiful. And you know what? It's going to be okay. That's what I would
One
tell
day they
10-year-old
gonna
me.
want your butt.
Yes.
Girl.
And your hair is
I would tell
fabulous.
10-year-old me, that's right. One day you're going to value all that you got back there. That's what I would tell 10-year-old me.
Absolutely. You are right on. And Lynn?
I would first tell 10-year-old me that I would thank her for being strong. I would definitely thank her for being strong. I would tell her now that when you make a mistake, that it's still going to be okay. That, and I would definitely tell her that it's as perfect as you want this world to be, it's not. And that's okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Thank you, ladies.
When I think of all of you beautiful women, the word that comes to me is resilient.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself resilient? And I'm going to start with you, Lynn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a chapter in my book about being resilient, just understanding. I can attest to getting knocked down and keep getting back up and coming back stronger, and just knowing that you're going to continue to get knocked down, like knocked down, don't stop, and just keep getting back up. So that's been my story. That's my story. So yeah, that's my story.
What about you, Lachey?
Absolutely. Every day is a fight. And when I think about the anniversary coming in like a couple of weeks from now, going back 3 years ago, I'm saying, take me. I don't even want to live. And it was just like a light bulb came on. But through therapy, I've been through 9 different therapists, that I matter, and that it is something that I am supposed to do, because there was not a lot of people seeking therapy, because the way that I grew up, therapy was not for me per se. Going to rehab centers was a cult. And I had to realize that it's about what I need. It's not about what my parents believe, my grandparents believe. I am the one that needs help right here. I don't want to wake up the next day and you're telling me to pray. Well, I'm a little angry with God right now. So what do you want me to pray about? So absolutely, the boxing gloves are on and I'm fighting to get my life back.
Yes, yes. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. What about you, Lisa?
Wow, you know that word resilient is floating around so much right now, especially as it relates to Black women. And looking at the definition of resilient, you know, to be able to withstand or something, I just look at it differently. I don't look experience as something that could take me out, or I just look at it as an experience that I'm having that day. And I ask, what is this here to show me? So, you know, from the standard perspective of resilience, sure, I'm resilient. You know, I wake up every day like everybody else and we have this experience. But at the end of the day, yeah, I made it through, but I just don't look at it as making it through. So I just look at, look, this is the experience that the day brought me, and this is what I learned from, and this is how my day was. So yeah, I suppose I would say I'm resilient.
Yes. Ellena?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, 51 years of different, going through different stages in life. And I wasn't ever in a point of being depressed. I was destructive to myself. So I have to look at all the different things that I've gone through in life, all the different things that I've overcome, from, like I said, being destructive to myself, to being homeless, to being where, the point that I'm at right now. I mean, I've been in jail, I've been arrested. So I have overcome a lot, so when you think about the word resilient, like you said, I mean, for a lot of Black women, that word just sits over the top of our head, because it's so much that we have to overcome as Black women in this country, because we're the most unprotected group in this country. Yes.
And Danielle?
Yes, ma'am, resilient. Oh, yes. One thing I learned about resilience and having strength, this may have been my older sister who said this to me, I don't know, but it resonated in my heart. And she said, emotional strength, fortitude, resilience, nobody has a savings account on that. No one has all this emotional strength just built up and for the time that you're going to need it. When you're going through a divorce, you can just go to the bank and get that resilience, get that strength, and hey, I'm good. Nobody has that. No one has just an account just there with that. No one has a reserve. Strength, resilience, it is meted out to us on an as needed basis. You often hear people say, oh, I never knew I could make it through something like that. That's because you couldn't until you needed to. And at that moment when you needed that, that's when God, that's when your ancestors, that's when the prayers of your grandmother, that's when your girlfriends, that's when, the strength that comes through tears, the strength that comes from your human spirit, that's when it kicks in and you get that strength at that moment. You become resilient in the moment.
Yeah.
I just don't think we got it just sitting there on reserve, but there's nothing, just having talked to these women for these few minutes, there is nothing that could come upon any one of us that we could not get through. It just isn't.
Yes.
Because at the moment you need it, you're going to have what you need.
Absolutely. The word for the day, ladies, is resilience, huh? I loved everyone's take on the word resilience. I love it. Okay, so let's have a little fun. In 30 seconds or less, you've worked hard and been awarded a full, all expense paid 24 hours to pamper yourself. What does that look like? What would you do?
Ooh.
And I was, Danielle, you let me start with you. I heard your excitement. 30 seconds or less.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the sensory deprivation tank, and I'm gonna float for an hour in complete darkness and cut off all my senses. I'm gonna go to the salt cave, and I'm gonna probably take a good nap in there while I'm breathing in those minerals. I'm gonna have some really good sex and have a great orgasm. Come on now.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Hello.
Mental, spiritual, physical health I'm gonna meditate and pray because woo, that feels good. And I'm definitely gonna spend some time with some really good girlfriends.
I love it. Lachey?
Oh, I'm going to the Golden Door, straight in Malibu. I'm gonna spend the all day being pampered.
I love it. I love it, Lynn.
Actually, you know how they say, Calgon, take me away. I would actually go get in my tub with my candles and my smell good fragrances and my spiritual music, and I will be taken away for as long as I feel like being taken away.
Oh,
Absolutely. I love it. Lisa?
I'm getting me the first plane smoking to Ghana, and I'm gonna sit on the beach, the beautiful beaches in West Ghana. You know, we don't get to hear that kind of stuff about Ghana. Or Africa pure. We think it's all this jungle. Honey, they have some of the most beautiful beaches, and I'm on the first thing smoking out here to West Ghana to lay on that beach naked, and hopefully Dexter comes along, and we're gonna have us a good old time. Or actually, I just might take Stephen with me. That's my honey, so he's probably mad about Dexter.
Love it.
Ladies,
Excellent.
ladies, I applaud all of you. You guys are my sheroes for sure. Before we go, please give your name and social media handle or your website for our listeners. And let's start with you, Lachey.
I am Leisa Johnson with Coldwell Banker right here in Centennial. My website is redcarpetrealestates with an S.com.
Danielle.
I can be reached at Danielle Rashann, spelled just like my name is, at gmail.com.
Lisa.
You can find me Eat My Dessert First on Twitter, Eat My Dessert First on Instagram, eatmydessertfirst.com is my website, and facebook.com/eatmydessertfirst.
And Lynn.
You can find me as I am Lynne Jasames, all on social media, and my website is www.lynnejasames.com.
And I think we lost Ellena, but she is owner of, what is it? Is it Easy Mart, Felina?
Easy Days Mini Mart.
Easy Days Mini Mart right here in Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
We've come to the end, Felina.
I know. And our panelists are so amazing and beautiful and vibrant. And we're so grateful to have y'all. Thank you, ladies.
Oh, no,
Thank you. It was great to be here. Meet all of you.
So
I love
wonderful.
the energy. I'm very energy driven, and I just love the energy.
Yes.
Love the energy. Love it.
Ladies. We want to thank you for joining us on this 5-star day. We believe in you. We believe that you're going to have a more 5-star life starting right now.
Yes, and we know you could have been anywhere, but you chose to be right here with us. And so for that, we thank you. We look forward to seeing you on Facebook at 5-Star Living Show, and join us in the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle. Remember to laugh more and love more while taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely. The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by Flossie Flicks Photography, Monickie.com, Flossie Locks, and Meditate with Mo. Until next time, keep 5-star living, y'all.
Yes, and like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.